In the majestic halls of the Celestian Empire, Princess Lyra stood defiant, her royal gown shimmering with ethereal light, as she faced her advisors who surrounded her with furrowed brows and anxious whispers. The grand chamber was adorned with opulent tapestries, depicting the glory of her ancestors and the might of their fleets, yet the air was thick with tension. Lyra's heart raced not from fear, but from a deep desire to break free from the suffocating expectations of her royal lineage. The meeting had been convened to discuss her upcoming diplomatic journey, a critical summit that would determine the fate of intergalactic alliances. She knew the stakes were high, but her spirit longed for something different, something that represented true exploration. "I refuse to take the Imperial starship," she declared, her voice steady and unwavering. Her advisors exchanged bewildered glances, as if she had suggested they fly into the heart of a black hole. They were accustomed to luxury, to power, to the undeniable prestige of the Celestian fleet. But Lyra craved adventure. She wanted to embrace the unknown. And what better way to do so than to travel aboard a human vessel? "Your Highness, this is a matter of great importance," one advisor insisted, his voice quivering with disbelief. "Do you not understand the implications of your decision? Traveling with humans is dangerous, unpredictable. And that is precisely why I want to do it," Lyra countered, her eyes blazing with determination. "Imagine the stories we could tell, the insights we could gain from their unique perspective. We cannot afford to be stagnant, locked away in our gilded cage." A murmur of dissent rippled through the room, but Lyra held her ground. The humans had always fascinated her, their resilience, their creativity, their audacity to defy convention. They represented a spirit that was both raw and inspiring. She longed to experience that firsthand, to learn from them, and to bring those lessons back to her people. The Intergalactic Council was soon called to debate her unconventional request. The hall was filled with representatives from various planets, each one watching the unfolding drama with rapt attention. Captain Marcus Hale, a notorious human pilot known for his reckless exploits and incredible feats of bravery, was summoned as the only suitable candidate to transport the princess. As Marcus arrived at the Celestian Palace, the whispers grew louder, the air crackled with anticipation. His reputation preceded him, a man who danced with danger and thrived in chaos, yet he remained humble, a stark contrast to the lavish surroundings of the palace. When Lyra and Marcus met for the first time, sparks flew. There was an undeniable chemistry between them. Her royal poise and his rugged charm clashed in an exhilarating dance of personalities. Marcus raised an eyebrow at her request, but beneath the skepticism was a flicker of intrigue. He saw something in her, an untamed spirit that matched his own. The details of the journey were soon hashed out, with Lyra insisting on using the Starfinder, the small but agile human ship that had seen more than its fair share of adventures. Its crew was a motley group with stories of their own, and Lyra felt a surge of excitement at the thought of joining them. As preparations began, the air buzzed with energy. Lyra's determination was contagious. The crew of the Starfinder rallied around her. They were no longer simply transporting a royal. They were embarking on a journey that would change their destinies, intertwining their lives in ways none could foresee. The countdown to adventure had begun, and the galaxy awaited them. As the Starfinder prepared for launch, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement and nervous energy. The crew scurried about, securing supplies and checking systems, while Captain Marcus Hale stood at the helm, surveying the scene with a mix of admiration and disbelief. He had never expected to be part of a royal mission, let alone one involving a princess who was determined to break the mold. Princess Lyra emerged from her quarters, ready for the journey. Her gown had been adapted for space travel. Shimmering fabric now hugged her figure, allowing for movement and practicality. Her hair flowed freely in defiance of royal constraints, and as she stepped onto the bridge, Marcus couldn't help but notice the fierce light in her eyes. She was not merely a princess, she was a force of nature. "Are we ready to go?" she asked with an infectious enthusiasm, her voice carrying a hint of mischief, as if she were challenging the very fabric of their reality. Marcus grinned, turning to her as he gestured to the control panel. "We're all set, just awaiting your command, Your Highness," he replied with a playful bow that earned a laugh from her. She appreciated his casual demeanor. It made her feel more like an equal than a royal figure isolated by expectations. With a nod, she took her place beside him at the control panel. Her presence was electric. As they initiated the launch sequence, the ship trembled slightly beneath them, a thrill coursing through Lyra as they blasted away from the Celestian Palace, leaving behind the familiarity of her home for the vast unknown. As they broke free from the planet's gravity, the stars stretched out before them in a breathtaking tapestry of light. She felt alive for the first time in ages, a sense of freedom that she had yearned for in the shadow of her royal duties. However, the journey was not without its challenges. Mere moments into their flight, an alert rang out from the control panel, a warning that sent a shiver down Marcus's spine. "Captain, we have an incoming storm," a crew member shouted, panic creeping into his voice. Marcus immediately tapped into his piloting instincts and assessed the readings. The storm was massive, swirling energies that could disrupt their navigation systems and tossed the ship around like a toy in a tempest. He felt the pressure mounting as he turned to Lyra. "We can divert, but it may take longer than expected. Do you want to continue through it or change course?" he asked, gauging her reaction. Lyra's eyes sparkled with determination. "We will face it," she replied without hesitation. "We cannot turn away from a challenge. This is what we came for, to experience the unknown." Marcus nodded, a fire igniting within him at her bravery. "All right then, hold on tight," he warned. As he maneuvered the Starfinder into the heart of the storm, the ship bucked and rolled as powerful winds and electrical discharges surrounded them. Lyra gripped the edge of her seat, her heart racing with adrenaline. But instead of fear, she felt exhilaration. She could see Marcus's focus as he skillfully navigated the turbulent waves of energy. Every twist and turn a testament to his expertise, and her faith in him grew stronger. As they plunged deeper into the storm, the ship rattled and jolted around them, a cacophony of sound enveloping the bridge. But through it all, Lyra remained steadfast, her spirit refusing to falter. She shouted over the din, "We can do this, Marcus. We're not just a princess and a pilot. We are a team. Let's show the universe what we're made of." With those words ringing in his ears, Marcus pushed the Starfinder to its limits. They soared through the chaos, harnessing the storm's energy and emerging on the other side victorious. The stars glittered brightly ahead of them as they sailed into the calm of space, both exhilarated by the challenge they had faced together, united in their quest for adventure. As the Starfinder emerged from the storm, the vastness of space greeted them with a serene beauty. The stars twinkled like distant diamonds against the inky blackness. Princess Lyra took a deep breath, savoring the moment. The exhilaration of their narrow escape pulsed through her veins. Marcus glanced at her, a satisfied grin spreading across his face. "You did good back there, Your Highness," he said, his tone genuine and warm. "I think we make a pretty solid team, don't you?" Lyra beamed back at him, her spirit lifted by his praise. "Yes, we do," she replied, feeling a sense of camaraderie that transcended their royal and earthly backgrounds. She turned to the crew, who were buzzing with excitement from their successful navigation through the storm. "This is what adventure feels like," she thought, a thrilling sense of unity and purpose. As the crew settled back into their routines, Marcus turned to the navigation console, plotting a course toward their next destination, a planet known for its vibrant ecosystems and diverse cultures. It was a place where they could gather valuable insights and establish connections that could benefit both Celestians and humans. "We should be arriving in a few hours," he announced. The crew exchanged eager glances, preparing for the next leg of their journey. Lyra felt a thrill at the thought of stepping onto a new world, its landscapes teeming with life and possibilities. With the ship on autopilot, Marcus turned to Lyra. "I have to admit, I wasn't sure about this whole human vessel thing at first, but you've changed my mind," he said, his eyes sparkling with mischief. "I think you might just be the most adventurous princess in the galaxy." Lyra laughed, a melodic sound that filled the bridge. "It's not just about being adventurous. It's about embracing the unknown, breaking down barriers, and creating connections between our worlds," she replied, her voice steady with conviction. As they traveled, Marcus took the opportunity to teach Lyra more about the intricacies of human navigation systems, sharing stories of his past adventures and the mischief he often found himself in. She listened intently, her fascination growing with each tale. She realized that beneath his bravado was a heart full of passion and a thirst for exploration that mirrored her own. They shared laughter and banter, and as the hours passed, Lyra found herself increasingly drawn to Marcus's charisma and confidence, igniting something within her, a sense of belonging she had longed for among her royal duties. Suddenly, a distress signal interrupted their camaraderie. The console blared a warning, drawing both their attention. Marcus's expression turned serious as he turned to Lyra. "We need to check this out. It could be a trap, or it could be someone in need of help." Lyra's pulse quickened, a spark of excitement igniting in her chest. "Yes, let's go," she urged. The decision was instantaneous, and she felt a sense of purpose coursing through her veins as they adjusted their course toward the source of the signal. As they approached the location, they discovered a damaged freighter floating in the void of space debris scattered around it, and crew members struggling to repair the ship. Marcus's instincts kicked in. He assessed the situation, quickly noting the potential dangers involved. "They might be pirates," he cautioned, but Lyra shook her head, her eyes alight with compassion. "We can't leave them there. We have to help." With her words echoing in his mind, Marcus felt a surge of admiration. He nodded resolutely. "All right, let's do this. But we'll need a plan." As they drew closer, the tension built in the air. The crew gathered around the console, ready to assist their captain and the princess as they prepared to extend a lifeline into the vastness of space. They realized they were no longer just a pilot and a princess, but a united force ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the Starfinder approached the damaged freighter, Marcus quickly gathered his crew around the console, the tension palpable in the air. They needed to formulate a plan to assist the distressed ship while ensuring their own safety. Lyra stood beside him, her presence a steadying force as she absorbed every detail of the situation. The freighter's hull was scarred and battered, indicating a recent skirmish, but the distress signal pulsed with urgency, its beacon, a cry for help that tugged at Lyra's heart. She could see crew members moving frantically on the deck, attempting to stabilize their vessel, and her resolve strengthened. "We need to establish communication," Marcus said, his fingers dancing across the controls. "Let's see if they can respond to us." He initiated the hailing sequence, and the ship's comms crackled to life. A voice, filled with desperation, echoed through the speakers. "This is the freighter Horizon. We're taking on water, and our engines are failing. We need immediate assistance." Lyra stepped forward, her voice calm and authoritative. "This is Princess Lyra of the Celestian Empire. We are here to help. Can you provide us with details on your situation?" The response was quick and filled with urgency. "We're being pursued by a pirate ship. They damaged our engines, and we don't have much time. Please, you have to help us." Marcus exchanged a glance with Lyra, both of them understanding the gravity of the situation. The clock was ticking, and they couldn't afford to hesitate. He turned to his crew. "All right, we're going to board the Horizon and assist with repairs, while keeping an eye out for any pirate activity." Lyra nodded, her heart racing with determination. "We need to act quickly," she added, her voice steady. "Let's show them what we can do." As the crew prepared for the boarding action, Marcus led the way, feeling a surge of adrenaline coursing through him. The airlock opened, and they stepped onto the freighter's deck. The scene was chaotic. Crew members were scrambling to patch up leaks and stabilize the ship's systems. Marcus wasted no time assessing the damage, while Lyra encouraged the freighter's crew, rallying them. With her presence, her royal status suddenly felt like a powerful tool. "We need to seal the breach in the hull before we can address the engines," she directed, her voice cutting through the panic like a beacon of hope. Marcus was impressed by her ability to take charge in such a dire situation. He moved alongside her as they worked together to coordinate the repairs. The crew of the Horizon began to respond to her leadership, confidence returning as they followed her instructions. Lyra felt a sense of purpose building within her as they worked tirelessly to stabilize the ship. Just as they completed the repairs, alarms blared, signaling the approach of the pirate vessel. The tension in the air thickened as Marcus looked at Lyra. "We don't have much time. We need to prepare for battle." Lyra felt a surge of adrenaline. She had never faced combat before, but the courage within her surged to the forefront. She quickly organized the freighter's crew, giving them tasks and preparing them for the impending confrontation. "We will stand our ground," she declared, her voice resolute. "We can't let them take us down. We've come too far for that." Marcus watched her with admiration, her bravery infectious. As they took up defensive positions aboard the horizon, the sound of the approaching pirates grew louder, the ship's hull vibrating with the imminent threat. As the pirate vessel came into view, its silhouette menacing against the backdrop of stars, Marcus felt his heart race. He had faced danger countless times, but this felt different with Lyra at his side. He knew they were in this together. The pirates opened fire as they approached the freighter, their weapons lighting up the void. Lyra and Marcus exchanged glances, determination etched on their faces. They were ready to fight for the lives of those aboard the horizon, and to protect the spirit of collaboration they had forged during their journey. As the pirate ship loomed closer, Marcus quickly assessed their weapon systems. The fire from the enemy vessel lit up the darkness like a flash of lightning, and he felt the tension in the air thickening. The crew of the horizon prepared for battle, while Lyra stood tall, her resolve unwavering despite the chaos surrounding them. "We need to use their momentum against them," Marcus shouted as the first blasts rocked the freighter. The crew responded to his command, their adrenaline pumping. As they took their positions, he could see fear in their eyes, but also a spark of determination igniting in their hearts. Lyra stepped forward, rallying the crew. "Listen up," she called out, her voice steady and commanding. "We have faced challenges together, and we will not back down. We fight for our survival and for each other. Let's show them the strength of unity." Marcus felt a swell of pride as he watched her inspire those around them. She had transformed from a princess into a fearless leader in an instant. They were no longer separate entities, but a cohesive unit ready to defend what was right. The pirate ship unleashed another volley of fire, and Marcus reacted instinctively, maneuvering the horizon to dodge the incoming blasts. The ship shook under the impact, but the crew held steady, their training kicking in as they returned fire with whatever weapons they had available. Lyra moved through the fray, directing crew members with precision, coordinating their efforts. As Marcus navigated the chaos, he could see her confidence grow with each passing moment. Her presence was a beacon amid the storm. "Engage their shields," he ordered the crew, responding swiftly as energy beams erupted from the horizon's weapon systems, striking the pirate vessel with surprising force. The pirates were caught off guard by their fierce resistance. Marcus seized the opportunity and executed a daring maneuver, swinging the freighter around to come alongside the pirate ship, their cannons blaring as they targeted the enemy's weak points. He could feel the ship's systems straining, but they pressed on, fueled by the adrenaline of battle. Lyra stood at his side, her eyes alight with determination, ready to face whatever came next. As they drew closer, she shouted instructions to the crew, and Marcus felt a sense of unity among them, a collective will to survive against the odds. The pirates regrouped, firing back with renewed ferocity, and Marcus gritted his teeth as the ship rocked under the assault, but he refused to falter. The camaraderie and bravery of the crew strengthened his resolve. "We need to board their ship," he announced suddenly, an idea forming in his mind. "We can take the fight to them. If we disable their engines, we can buy ourselves time." Lyra's eyes sparkled with excitement. "Yes, let's do it," she urged, her spirit infectious as they prepared for the boarding maneuver. With a swift maneuver, Marcus piloted the horizon alongside the pirate vessel, creating a makeshift bridge between the two ships. He motioned for the crew to follow him as they armed themselves with whatever they could find: blasters, makeshift weapons, anything they could use to fight. As they boarded the pirate ship, chaos reigned within its halls. The crew had been caught off guard, and the element of surprise was on their side. Lyra led the charge, her courage igniting a fire within the hearts of the crew. They surged forward, pushing deeper into the enemy vessel. They encountered pirates scrambling to regroup, but the alliance of the Horizon crew and the princess was formidable. Lyra fought alongside them, her skills surprising even Marcus as they pressed deeper into the ship, seeking to disable the pirates' control center. They fought fiercely, each victory fueling their determination as they pushed through the corridors of the enemy ship. Marcus felt exhilaration coursing through him every step, drawing him closer to victory, and further from the doubts that had once plagued him. With each battle cry and every defeated pirate, they forged a bond that transcended their origins. United by a common purpose, they were no longer just a princess and a pilot, but warriors fighting for survival and the promise of a brighter future in the galaxy. As they pressed deeper into the heart of the pirate ship, the air was thick with tension. The crew of the Horizon moved like a well-oiled machine, guided by Lyra's fierce determination and Marcus's strategic instincts. The corridors echoed with the sounds of battle as they encountered pockets of resistance from the startled pirates. Lyra led the charge, her confidence radiating as she shouted encouragement to her crew. Each step felt like a declaration of their resolve. They would not back down. They would reclaim their safety and their freedom. The adrenaline coursing through her veins made her feel more alive than ever. They rounded a corner and encountered a group of pirates attempting to regroup, their faces twisted in surprise as they saw the crew of the Horizon rushing toward them. Lyra didn't hesitate. She raised her blaster and fired with precision, striking one of the pirates who had raised his weapon in defense. The others faltered, but quickly regrouped, their instincts kicking in. Marcus moved alongside her, providing cover as the crew pressed forward, pushing the pirates back with sheer determination. He could see the fear in the eyes of the enemies as they realized they were outnumbered and outmatched by this unlikely alliance. "We need to reach the control room," he shouted over the din of battle, his voice steady amid the chaos. "If we can disable their systems, we can end this fight and secure the safety of the Horizon." Lyra nodded, her resolve unshakable. They fought their way through the corridors, encountering more pirates who tried to impede their progress. But with each confrontation, they grew stronger, their unity and determination shining through. As they reached the door to the control room, Marcus glanced at Lyra, feeling a surge of adrenaline. The moment of truth had arrived. He turned to the crew. "We breach on my mark," he said, his voice firm. "Ready yourselves." With a deep breath, he activated the door controls, and they burst into the control room, weapons drawn, ready to face whatever awaited them. Inside, the scene was chaotic. The control panels flickered with alerts and alarms blaring as pirates scrambled to regain control of their ship. The pirates were caught off guard by the sudden intrusion, and Marcus seized the moment, firing at the nearest pirate, while Lyra shouted commands, rallying the crew to take control of the room. They moved swiftly, engaging the pirates in close combat. Lyra's movements were fluid and precise as she fought alongside her crew, her instincts guiding her every action. Marcus was captivated by her bravery as they fought side by side, their synergy a testament to their growing bond. In the midst of the chaos, Marcus spotted the main control panel and darted toward it. He needed to disable the ship's systems quickly if they were to ensure their victory. He could hear the sounds of battle behind him, but his focus narrowed to the task at hand. Lyra was right beside him, covering his movements as he worked furiously to disable the systems, a sense of urgency driving him. The pirates were regaining their composure, and he knew they needed to act fast. As he hacked into the control panel, the screens flickered with information, and he could see the status of the ship's engines. The systems were still operational, but the crew was distracted by the fight. He needed to exploit that weakness. "I'm almost in," he shouted, his fingers flying over the controls as alarms blared around them. He could feel the weight of the moment pressing down on him, the balance of power hanging by a thread. Lyra fought valiantly beside him, her presence a constant reminder of why they were fighting. They were not just defending themselves, they were protecting each other and forging a future that could unite their worlds. With a final keystroke, Marcus disabled the ship's engines. The lights flickered and dimmed as the control room fell into a tense silence. The pirates exchanged nervous glances as they realized their ship was no longer under their control. "We did it," he shouted, turning to Lyra, and the crew a surge of triumph filling the air. They had overcome the odds, and now they had the upper hand. The tide of battle had shifted, and they were ready to claim victory for the Horizon and themselves. As the realization set in that the pirates had lost control of their ship, a wave of tension washed over the control room. The sounds of battle around them Faded as the pirates exchanged panicked glances, Lyra felt a surge of triumph, but also a surge of compassion for their adversaries. "We can't just leave them here," she declared, her voice ringing with authority. "We fought hard, but we should offer them a chance to surrender." Marcus looked at her, surprised by her words, but he recognized the wisdom behind her sentiment. "You're right," he agreed, catching the attention of the crew. "Listen up, everyone. We're not here to execute anyone. We're giving them a chance to walk away peacefully. If they choose to surrender now, we'll show them mercy." The crew of the Horizon nodded in agreement, bolstered by Lyra's leadership and Marcus's determination. It was a powerful moment of unity. They were not just fighting for their lives, but standing for a greater principle of compassion and collaboration. As the pirates hesitated, Marcus raised his voice in command, "Surrender, and you will not be harmed any further. We have no desire to take lives, but we will defend ourselves if necessary." The tension in the room was palpable as the pirates considered their options. Finally, a burly pirate stepped forward, hands raised in defeat. "We surrender," he grumbled, the fight leaving his voice as he glanced at his comrades, uncertainty clouding their expressions. With that single act, the atmosphere shifted. The crew of the Horizon released breaths. They didn't realize they had been holding relief, flooding the room as Marcus gestured for the pirates to disarm themselves. Lyra stepped forward, her presence commanding as she addressed the pirates. "We have all made choices in our lives, choices that led us to this moment, but today we can choose a different path together. Let this be a new beginning for all of us." The remaining pirates slowly followed suit, dropping their weapons and surrendering to the crew of the Horizon. The sense of camaraderie that had formed among the crew and the Celestian princess had changed the narrative of battle into one of hope and redemption. As the tension eased, Marcus turned to Lyra, his admiration for her growing stronger with each passing moment. "You just turned a battle into an opportunity," he said, shaking his head in disbelief. She smiled back at him. "We are not defined by our pasts," she replied, her voice filled with conviction. "We have the power to shape our futures, and if we can extend that possibility to others, then we are doing something right." With the pirates disarmed, Marcus and Lyra worked together to secure them, ensuring they would not pose a threat. As they assessed the situation aboard the Horizon, the crew began to relax, celebrating their victory as they tended to the wounded and assessed the damage. The freighter was damaged, but thanks to their efforts it remained intact and operational. The crew of the Horizon felt a renewed sense of purpose as they realized that they had not only saved themselves, but had forged a new alliance with the pirates who were now at their mercy. As they prepared to return to their own ship, Lyra addressed both her crew and the former pirates. "We have an opportunity here, a chance to collaborate instead of fight. We can learn from each other and grow stronger together." The room erupted in applause, her words igniting a fire of hope among them. Marcus felt a swell of pride and excitement at what lay ahead. He knew this was just the beginning of their journey together. They would navigate uncharted territories, not only of space, but of understanding and cooperation. As they made their way back to the Starfinder, the atmosphere was charged with possibility. The bridge was filled with laughter and conversation as the two crews mingled, sharing stories of their respective worlds and dreams for the future. Lyra and Marcus exchanged glances filled with unspoken understanding. They had embarked on this journey as strangers, but through courage, compassion, and collaboration they had become allies, united by a vision for a better galaxy, one that embraced diversity and sought peace among the stars. As the Starfinder and the Horizon floated side by side in the vast expanse of space, a sense of camaraderie blossomed between the two crews, the air filled with laughter and shared stories as the former pirates mingled with the crew of the Horizon, creating an unexpected alliance that promised to reshape their destinies. Lyra stood on the bridge, her heart swelling with pride as she watched the interactions unfold. It was more than just a victory over adversity. It was a testament to the power of compassion and understanding. She had believed in this moment, and now it was coming to life. Once the repairs were complete and the pirates secured, the crew gathered for a meeting to discuss their next steps. Marcus stood at the forefront, addressing everyone with confidence. "We have a unique opportunity before us," he began, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. We have the chance to build something greater than we ever imagined." Lyra stepped beside him, her presence commanding, as she added, "We can work together to foster peace and understanding between our worlds. We've already taken the first step by choosing collaboration over conflict." The crew nodded in agreement, their spirits lifted by her words. One of the former pirates, a wiry man with a quick smile, spoke up. "I never thought I'd find myself working alongside Celestians, but today has shown me that change is possible if we're willing to embrace it." He glanced around at the crew members who had once been his enemies, but now stood beside him as allies. Lyra smiled at him. "Your journey doesn't have to end here," she encouraged. "Let us create a council where we can discuss our differences and learn from each other. We can share knowledge, technology, and culture, bridging the gap between our worlds." The crew erupted in applause, her vision resonating deeply within them. Marcus felt a sense of exhilaration at the prospect of what they could accomplish together. He turned to Lyra, admiration shining in his eyes. "You're not just a princess, you're a true leader," he said, his voice sincere. Lyra blushed at the compliment, her cheeks warming under his gaze. "We are all leaders in our own right," she replied. "Every voice matters, and together we can create a future where every perspective is valued." As they prepared to set course for the Celestian Empire to present their newfound alliance and vision for cooperation, the crew worked tirelessly, ensuring everything was in order. Marcus and Lyra exchanged glances filled with determination as the engine roared to life. The journey back was filled with camaraderie, the former pirates sharing their experiences with the crew of the Starfinder, bonding over their shared stories as they traversed the stars together. A feeling of unity grew among them. It was a celebration of transformation as they all embarked on a new path. Upon their arrival at the Celestian Empire, the atmosphere was charged with anticipation. Lyra felt the weight of her role as she prepared to present their alliance to her people. She understood the challenges that lay ahead, but she also felt empowered by the support of her newfound friends. As they entered the grand chamber of the Empire, the council members awaited them, their expressions a mix of skepticism and curiosity. Lyra stepped forward, her heart racing, but she held her head high, addressing them with unwavering conviction. "Honored council members," she began, "today we stand at the brink of a new era, one where we choose collaboration over conflict, where we embrace diversity and the strength it brings. We have forged an alliance with the crew of the Horizon, and together we can build a brighter future." The room fell silent, her words resonating as she shared the stories of their journey, the battles fought, and the bonds formed. She spoke of compassion and understanding. The council members exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from skepticism to intrigue. In that moment, Marcus felt a surge of hope for the future. They were not just two separate worlds, they were allies united by a shared vision, a future where humanity and Celestians work together for peace, prosperity, and exploration among the stars. As the discussions unfolded and the council began to embrace the idea of cooperation, Lyra and Marcus exchanged a knowing smile. Their journey was just beginning, but they were ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, side by side, hand in hand, forging a path toward a galaxy united in purpose and possibility.